Hi and welcome to Yum Paleo. My name is Andrew and today we're going to be doing a really tasty steak lunch or a steak dinner, whatever the case may be. So what I've got here is 5 delicious looking pieces of sirloin steak. And what we're going to do with this, it's going to be a really simple but really effective meal. We're having that with a side of greens and some eggs. But probably the star of the show today is going to be the vegetable sort of vegetable cake type things that we're making. So we're going to be doing this in a fairly regular size muffin tray. These are quite generous size muffins. And what I have here is a dozen mushrooms, a couple of eggs to help bind the mixture, a little bit of pesto, and I've got 2 kumara which I've diced, as well as a slice of pumpkin, which would probably be about half of a quarter. So about 1/8 of a pumpkin. So a fairly small piece, but just enough to give that extra little bit of colour and consistency to the kumara. So what we're going to get started and do is just put a little bit of water in the bottom of that, because what we want to do is we want to soften these in the microwave before we're ready to put them together and put them into the muffin tins. So I'm just going to start that off, and going to do that for about, let's say, 6 minutes. In the interim, I'm going to get our eggs started as well. So just make sure I get the right ring going. It's got a good burn on that ring. So what I'm going to do is I've got 4 eggs here. Actually, I'm doing this as a meal for 5 people. So the idea here is 5 pieces of steak. So actually with that, I'm probably just going to grab 1 extra egg out of the fridge, because the hard-boiled eggs are going to be served with the salad. So we're going to have a small pile of greens, and on top of them we're going to have a hard-boiled egg that's been quartered, and then we're going to have the steak with it, as well as our vegetable sort of muffin type things. So 5 eggs there. I'm just going to wait until that water is boiling, and then I'm going to drop those eggs in. So in the interim, I'm just going to start slicing up some of these mushrooms. And just while we're waiting for those vegetables to get ready. So the idea here is just keeping things fairly simple. And the idea with the vegetables is it's just a different way of presenting these vegetables, especially if you have children who aren't especially into eating veggies. If you have them presented in the form of like a little cake or muffin, it makes it a little bit different and perhaps a little bit more palatable as well. Yeah, there we go. We've got 12 of those sorted. And we've got 2 eggs here, and what we're going to do is we're going to break this into the mixture when that is ready. So I'm going to put my oven on just to heat in anticipation of those going in, and I'm going to pop it round onto fan bake, and I'm going to pop it round to around 175 Celsius, which is around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's just going to get that started off. So the idea here with having just these vegetables in here and a little bit of pesto, it'll just give it a little bit of zing. I've just got some pre-prepared paleo pesto that we've got here. Bear in mind, if you're using normal pesto, you can't use it because it will tend to have Parmesan cheese in it, which is a bit of a no-no. So we make our own version of the paleo pesto, which you'll find on one of our other recipes online or on our videos, and it's basically fresh basil, little bit of oil, and I add some walnuts because I really like the flavour of the walnuts with it. So walnuts, basil and oil, very, very simple. And again, I've just got an old pesto container here and we've just got some of that in there, and again it's a really good sort of fridge filler to have sitting around to add a little bit of something interesting to that. Now, in the interim, what are we going to do with the steak? So that's, I guess, our next question. So I'm going to season it with a little bit of ground black pepper And I'm going to get a little bit of garlic too, just for the heck of it. Okay, while I'm over here, I'm just going to quickly check on the vegetables. Just going to pour a little bit of water out of that. I've got a bit. Just going to take some of that water out because I don't want it to go too mushy. So I'm just going to put those in for about another 2 minutes. And in the interim, I'm just going to do a little bit of work on these cloves of garlic. Now the trick here is you squash them. I've probably told you this before, so you're sick of hearing it from me, but you squash them with the flat of your blade, and what that does is it just helps peel that extra layer of skin off, because it kind of ends up a little bit big and floppy for the crushed thing of garlic. It's kind of like, yeah, an excess layer of skin. So just lay that over, squash it slightly, trim the ends off, so you don't want those hard rooty bits. And the idea behind this is we just scrape a little bit off it each time. Hang on to the crushed bits in the bottom, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them in the pan and fry them off when they start cooking them anyway. So just going to throw that to one side. So just remember to share the love around a little bit. You don't have to put garlic with it, especially if you've got a date or something within the next couple of days. There we go. So that steak is about ready. Just rinse that knife off. Empty that straight in there. Drain back quite nicely. So throw them back into that glass bowl. And now we're going to mix through some of the pesto. So I put through a couple of teaspoons, so just like that. 1, 2. You can hear that boiling, so I should put those in now. There are 5 hard-boiled eggs. 3, 4, 5. Pop that in. And then we're going to break the other 2 eggs into here. And I'm just going to start mixing that through. And already those flavours from that pesto are smelling divine. Now the reason I'm not pushing the mushroom into it too soon is because the kumara and the pumpkin is a little bit harder than the kumara, or than the mushroom, and it will force the mushroom to break up a little bit. We don't really want that, so you sort of want to mix that egg and that pesto through first. So they're looking pretty good now. So now I'm going to throw the mushroom in, like so. And then spoon that through. Actually, I'm thinking I might throw a 3rd egg into there just to help that bind, because that mushroom looks a little bit bigger now than it did when they were sitting there. That's the wonderful thing about these recipes, is you can kind of improvise as you get there. So that's another egg going in, so that's 3 eggs going into this. Right. That's looking pretty good. So I'll grab a little bit of olive oil and a paper towel, because I want to grease the muffin tins so we don't have them stick. In fact, I'm just going to put a bit of oil into one of them. and you just do it like that. Or you can do it with a brush. I've got a brush in the drawer behind me, but paper towel's just as easy, and it's less dishes. Here we go. So, cool. So I'll bring this over here so we can see what we're doing. And we're just going to start spooning this mixture into these moulds. Now it all looks quite lumpy at the moment, but I assure you as it all starts to cook, the pumpkin and the mushroom and the kumara, or sweet potato, will cook down, and it will form quite a nice sort of muffin type thing. So there we go. I've got 12 fairly hefty looking muffins there. Just top them up where you can. So I think I've got more than I actually need in there. In fact, bugger it, that's fine. So, 12 muffins, we're going to stick them in the oven now. And that's on about 175, and we're going to come back to them in about 30 minutes. And in the interim, we're just going to leave those eggs going. And as we get towards close to finished with those muffins, that's when we're going to cook our steak. Now, steak, fairly simple. It's only going to take about 5 or 6 minutes to cook that. So now that we've got the muffins out of the way and we've got the eggs on the go and the greens are over there ready to go, we're just going to sit tight for a little bit, and we're going to come back in about 20 or so minutes, and then we're going to take a look at that steak and get it ready so everything's coming out on time. So I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Catch you then. Okay, welcome back. So those vegetable cakes have been in the oven for a little while now, so I'm just going to bring them out, have a wee look at them, and yep, they've cooked down quite well. So while we're letting them rest, I'm going to just start on this steak. So just plug that in and get it started. So just going to pop a little bit of oil in the bottom. So we're just going to drop these in. And just make a note of the time. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes now, so it's a good time to just turn them over. So I've just taken those first 3 out because I want them sort of more medium than well done. But one of the people who's eating it wants it done fairly well, so we'll just do those for probably another couple of minutes just to get them right. And I've just plated up a small pile of greens with it as well. So there we have it. We've got our we've got our sirloin steak, our vegetable muffins, and a small green with eggs. So really delicious, nutritious, and I hope you enjoy. So see you back here next time.